I never wanted to write a book, but I was approached while I moved into this aged care here, Montefiore, last July, not this year, a year ago. I moved in here because my wife couldn't look after anymore after herself. And she was here already for 2 months. And I was here from 9 to 9, 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock. Then I said, what I'm going to do at home alone. So I moved in here too. I don't have to be here. But for my wife, we are married for 74 years. What I have left, I want to be with her. She was a good wife, wonderful mother, very smart and clever, Sephardi Jew from Greece, born in Saloniki, and we speak French between us. I speak French too, you see. So I'm married for, I give you an example. You asked me in your questions that we were a very religious home. Not the Shiva, but after this, Orthodox. We called the Bruderschule in Leipzig. We were a congregation of 23,000, a very rich, powerful, but German association, German. We were Germans. We are the 3rd generation in Germany. What happened to my country, I cannot and will not forgive or forget. But I'm ashamed that Jews today live in Germany, because this was the most terrible time any country has performed in the history of mankind. What I have seen, because I'm a precision engineer, I make surgical instruments. In Australia, I made endoscopy. You go to a doctor, he puts a pipe in, it may be that I made that pipe. This is my profession. I'm a tool maker. And I survived because they needed me. I was wirtschaftlich wertvoller Jude. Das heißt, economical indispensable Jew. On one side, the factories, 11 factories near Auschwitz needed me. On the other side were the Nazis who wanted to demolish me. So I was in a conflict, but I never gave up hope. Hope. That is important. So you will ask me, maybe I'm not religious. I'm sorry to say that I lost my religion in Auschwitz. It's personal and I don't like to speak about it. I believe in a big power, but it's the power I can see, Rabbi. The flood can kill me, the lightning can kill me, the sky can kill me. I see this, I respect that. I cannot go Yom Kippur in the synagogue and say, I have schwindled, was a ganef. I can't. I be punished for what I'm doing, and I will punish myself. For one lie here, you see when I went on my honeymoon, I came back, I was foreman in a factory in Belgium, and I lied. And my sleeve, normally I turn over my sleeve when I grained once of the tool, my sleeve was caught and was cut my finger, and I had to go to hospital and they wanted to cut off my finger, but I have medical knowledge. I say, do this and this and this. I have my finger. They didn't know nothing. I was punished for lying to my boss that I had an accident. And you see, punishment, I believe in this way. I believe that I am healthy and in good shape for a 100-year-old because I always have helped people and do good for people. I have never lost my faith in goodness. My father used to say to me when I was a little boy, Eddie, there's more pleasure in giving than taking. I thought he's cuckoo. No. This is what we are on the world. Humans have to help each other. Animals, I have seen once in a chicken farm, A chicken was caught in a fence. Another chicken went to get their food and dropped it in front of that chicken. That means chicken help each other. Why shouldn't we help each other? It doesn't matter the color. It doesn't matter the religion. If you believe in God, He created black people, white people, nasty people, good people, but we're all human. And what my book wants to do is to teach humans to behave as humans. And this is the power of teaching. But we sometimes go wrong. Our fanatics are wrong. All fanatics are wrong. You must not teach hate. And sometimes there is a bit of hate. We must not hate. I like to go and leave this planet as a person they will remember. I give to all charities while I can. Doesn't matter if they're Goyim or Muslims or Schwarze, doesn't matter to me. Humans. I have seen bad and good in everyone. Now tell you, you probably need now, my niece is Leah Wolf. Rabbi Leibel Wolf's wife is my niece. So you see, can't be former than that. Now you have a connection. It's wonderful to be alive. Every morning when I wake up, I say, Eddie, another day to enjoy. That is important. Plan for tomorrow, Rabbi, but enjoy today. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. This is, and good things, you can never do enough mitzvahs. Good things, you are born good or you're born bad, but we can change a little bit. Society has a respect and a duty to all people. We came here, we are not came illegal. We're not smugglers. We are accepted here. And if something goes bad, you will not believe what can happen. And this is what I say to the Jewish people. I spoke a few months, on the 27th of February, I spoke to 300 people in Yavne College. And I told them, Jewish people have not learned yet that when we live in a country like Australia, not to show off with wealth. If we are smarter and more hardworking, don't show that you're driving a Rolls Royce and you're living in a beautiful house, in a villa, in a mansion in Turak. That's what they see. They don't see what you're doing. They see what you're showing. And we have not lost this envy. Envy means search for showing people off. Your quality of life is inside your house. What you can offer me or what I can offer you, that is luxury. Not what you show from the outside. You might be a miserable person inside, but you show outside. We have not lost this. And I can understand some Polish people when they came to Germany, they made a bit of money. They want Buicks, cars, American cars. Why? I have a little car. My car is a tool to take me from A to B. And the man who has a Daimler Benz, it doesn't matter. He goes the same way than me. We come to the same place, safe. Yeah. So that's my message in short. Now, where's Rebitzenbrunner? She wants to ask me also. Second question. Or you want to ask first 3 questions?
Eddie, that was extremely insightful, and we thank you for that insight. And I have to tell you, even though you say that you left your religion in Auschwitz, I see more religion in you today that many, many people of my religious friends would admire and learn from. I want to invite, I've switched now from speaker view to gallery so we can all see each other better. And I want to invite Rebbetzin Grona Esther Malka to ask you a question that she's been thinking about.
Okay.
You need to unmute just for a
Can't
second.
hear her.
Esther Malka.
I know. She's still mute.
Yep.
Hi, Eddie. So I'm not going to go in the correct order. We want to hear a little bit more about your story. So I'm just going to quickly go to question number 2. When I ask you, Eddie, you speak a lot about your friend Hans. Can you tell us a bit more about?
You mixed up. I have no friend Hans. Kurt
Sorry.
Hirschfeld.
Your
He's
best
my
friend.
friend. He's a Jewish man. Hans is a
Sorry. What's
Yeah.
your best friend's name?
Wait, Kurt, K-U-R.
Sorry, Kurt. I
Hirschfeld.
apologize.
Hirschfeld. He's a German Jew.
Yes, tell me more about him and how important your friendship was to you during the war and how it made all the difference.
Very important, most important. You see, friendship, I teach a lot about friendship and I speak a lot about friendship because friends you can't buy, they're priceless. Friends are like a second self and we all have faults. And that is what the young people today, they don't accept friendship. They're looking for faults. In French, you understand French? No. Anyway, in French, we have éplucher, means peeling. A friend, now the young people, they take their friend and peel them and with a magnifying glass look for faults. And that is the worst thing you can do. And the friends become enemies. When I have a friend, we are friends for life. Friendship is wonderful. I wouldn't be dead. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Kurt. You see, in the camp, you have very bad days and you are sick. You have fever. You can't go to hospital. They might kill you. So if you want to go and commit suicide, like 2 friends of mine have done, 2 doctors were older than me. Kurt, I say, Kurt, let's go to the wire. It takes 30 seconds. No, he said, we're going to survive. You're not going to do it. This is important. And when he was sick and he would come to me and say, let's go to the wire. Together, we say in French, l'union fait la force. Together we are strong. Alone we are goodish. We are nothing. Together. Friendship is the most important. I say to the young girls, if you don't become the best friend of your husband, your marriage will fail. It's not because of the beautiful reception and chuppah and all this. It's friendship. What you can give to each other. That's important. Perfect. Don't look for perfect. Rebbetzin. There is no perfect. I haven't found yet the person who is perfect. No one is perfect.
Right.
All have faults. That is humanity. Fault belongs to humanity. But faults can be regulated, faults can be made better, you can change a little. What you're born, but you can become better. And I like to become. I was a miserable person. I say in my book, I'm a miserable person for 2 years. I was so frightened to go in cinemas, go dancing. I didn't want to appear in big crowds. But when my son was born, my life changed. Your responsibility. I said to my 2 sons, you owe me nothing. I made you for my pleasure. You owe me respect. Now, I am the only couple in Monty who gets every day when it's permitted, my children come. So my son, one is 72 and one is 67. And I said to them, why don't you come 2-3 times a week? You don't want us to come? We want to come every day. It's payback time. What I have done in my life, I get back now. And this is wonderful. You see, this is Nachris. You speak about Nachris. This is Nachris. You see, I was always there for them, and they are there now for me. And that is important.
Beautiful.
And that makes me look. You'll see that I'm 100. I'm 100 years old. You believe it?
No, no.
Because I'm helpful. You know, I won this year in February a prize, the most helpful, the kindest, and the most active senior of 2020 New South Wales. Hip, hip, hey. This,
Amazing.
there's
Amazing.
no money involved. It's just show to other people, 1,200 people, and we were 4 at the end, 4.
Wow.
Important. I have an OIM because some of the people heard me speaking in the museum. I teach kindness, happiness. I teach 3 things with H, and that is health, happiness, and hope. Never give up hope. You give up hope, you're gone. That's the end of life.
Eddie, that's
If my family was religious, my family was very religious. We had a room downstairs. In Germany are very, very big houses. And we had a full room of Pesach dishes, everything. The stove, a big stove. You have no idea how big the houses in Germany are. The stoves are so big that we call somebody in to make it Pesach. Take the chametz away, and kosher, put coke all over the door. We were very religious. I did have to have my kippah. I have my kippah always in my pocket, not this pocket, but I have. Because when I go to Leibel Wool, I say to him, "Do you want me to put my kippah?" So he said, "You do in my house like you were in your house." So I don't wear a kippah, but if you come to visit him, I put on a kippah. That's his house. And I behave how he would like me to behave. He doesn't say that to me, which I appreciate that very much. You see, we have to be flexible. We have to accommodate fromme people or not fromme people. You see, Frumkeit is a personal thing. You can be a bastard to be from, and you can be a very nice person. Everywhere. I don't judge people by mass. I don't say this country is bad or this country is bad. We have bad in everyone, especially when you were in Auschwitz. You see, I thought I'm in Germany. I give you a revolutionary story. In 1938, when I came home from an orphanage where I lived for 5.5 years. I wanted to surprise my parents because it would have been on the 10th of November, they would have been married 20 years. I was 18.5. And I didn't say to my parents on the phone, I'm coming home. I came home and nobody was there. And I was a proud German. I thought I was living in the most civilized, most cultured, and certainly the most educated country in Europe. And all my life, I ask why. And nothing has changed, nothing. No, but it is an honor. I was with 11,000 Jewish men, Germans, in Buchenwald from the November the 10th to May the 2nd. And we get our bread and our soup together at 11 o'clock. Hot soup, and we get it outside. So I put it here, and I ran to the toilet because I felt sick. When I came back, my bread was gone. No, not in Buchenwald, in Auschwitz. 5 people were with me. One of the 5 have stolen my bread. And I said in Yiddish and in other languages I speak, whoever took my bread will not survive. Because I would not allow taking somebody your bread. If I see taking somebody your bread, I would break his wrist. But this is survival. So we are not the same. I wanted to say in Buchenwald, the German Jews did not take my food. They didn't touch it. This is Oration. So you are isolated in the camp. You can't speak to one, or you don't know who is a Musa. The German come to you and say, we save your family, but you tell us who tried to escape, who tried to sabotage, who doesn't like us, who wants to do something. So you can't speak to no one. And this is why it's so important in Auschwitz to have a best friend, Kurt. We never been in the same block, never. But we meet every night. He helps me and I help him. After the war, when we were together, we were running around in the city. They all saw two gays. You know, we're holding hands like that. We lived together. We slept in one bed, even. We nearly married together, now, each one woman. So it's wonderful to be alive. I just say to Rabbi, when I get up in the morning, I see another day to enjoy. Here the people in Monty, they come to die. I came to live. I don't die here, I live here. I die probably in the hospital somewhere. Who knows?
Eddie, that's a fascinating insight.
Oh,
you know, all four of my grandparents were survivors of the Shoah. When I grew up, I was very fortunate to get to know all of them, but they didn't speak much about their experiences in the camps. It was very difficult for them to talk about it. And I noticed that you have shared your story very publicly and you wrote a book about it. And I want to know, when did you first decide to write your book?
Right.
And did you ever expect it to be as incredibly successful as it has become?
No. I refused first 30 years after the war. For 30 years, I did not speak at all. I wanted to create the most normal family. I never said to my children, eat this. I didn't have this in Auschwitz like other survivors. We are not in Auschwitz. We are here. And as I said to the Rebbetzin, my children owe me nothing. I made them for my pleasure. So, but they owe me respect. I didn't speak for 30 years. My son was already 18 and a half years, and I had to address my congregation in the great synagogue. And there were about 700 people listening to me for 1 hour. And my son came to the synagogue and was hiding behind a curtain. And that's why he heard my story for the first time. I still cannot talk to my children head to head, face to face, because I see in my older son, my father, and my father didn't have this pleasure to live his life, a normal life, to die in a gas chamber of those bastards, excuse me. I never will forget or forgive. There is no forgiveness for the crime they have committed. 1/3 of our population they killed. Why didn't they shoot us? Why did they have to gas and test gas and all this? Why they have to operate us and take out livers from women and plant their liver into soldiers who have a damage? Who makes such a crime? These were not the sweepers of the floors or the cleaners of a country. This was the elite of the country. Doctors, lawyers, professors. They were our guards and our executors. The final solution was made by high-class German. That is Germany. You see, 400 years ago, we had a president in Germany. His name was Bismarck. And he said to the world, German people are wonderful people. If they have a good leader, it's the best country. But God help the world if they have a bad leader. And that is correct. And I never wanted to write a book. But now, as I moved in here, a young woman, her name is Kate Blake. She is one of the bosses in Pan Macmillan, the biggest, how do you say? publishers in Australia. She came here 3 times to this place, the Monty, and she convinced me that now, with all what's going on in the world, your book is necessary like never before, because we have about 40 books, and they were not very successful. I don't think if anybody sold 300. We have printed 95,000, and 50,000 are pre-sold. So it's a very successful. Because my book is not only to show what happened to me, I want to show the world that there is improvement. Any person or life can improve. This book is not for you and not for the rabbi, but for your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, to make a better society, more tolerant, more understanding, more kindness and polite. It costs no more to be nice. I want to be nice with everyone I meet. The ones who want to be my friends are my friends. They're my friends. Thank you. So, yes, you have more questions? You had another question.
I think we both have just one final question for you, one last question each. I wanted to ask you, aside from your family and spending time with your children and family, what gives you enjoyment nowadays? What do you enjoy doing besides seeing the wonderful sales of your book?
I enjoy most. I speak to thousands of children, school children, over the age of 13. I don't speak under 13 because I don't believe that this is a story for young children. It gives them nightmares, and we have to adjust our story to it. So I decided I don't go to up from year 9. Sometimes the girls at year 8, they are more advanced than the boys, more matured. Yes, that's the truth. Girls are much more mature. Look. And so I want first to speak to the children, and the children fall in love with me. I have many, many friends, young children, 17, 18. I have a girl who is now the secretary of a judge. She knows me for 10 years. She used to hold my hand because I get very emotional. And she used in Moriah College. And I knew very well Rabbi Schmuggler. And he moved in 2005. I spoke to the whole school. And this year I spoke just before my 100th birthday. But I want also to speak. I went to the South Coast and I asked the headmistress asked me, what can we do to please you? And I say, I would have loved to invite all the parents. I come here in the night, in the evening, in the morning, whenever you want, but I like to speak because education does not start in school. It starts at home. And so we have also to educate in Shul, Rabbi. The people have to be careful what they teach their children. We have to live in a society where we have to accept everyone. Everyone who is human and who doesn't insult us has to be looked to us as a role model. I was well-dressed, speak not bad, and want to impress the people. You don't know how this has happened, how this has changed society in Australia, where I come in. For the last 29 years, I teach. I'm not a teacher. I'm just a person who was hurt. And this hurt has brought out in me the best. And I want to make this society where I have chosen to live a better place for everyone. And this book goes now, and I'm very, very happy. And how do you say? I am very satisfied. I never thought it will have a success. Bestseller. Who can become bestseller? But it's true. So you see, because the story is not complicated, the story is easy to read, the story is right and true. I was first German and second German and third Jewish. So much assimilated we were. I lost 2 uncles and a grandfather fighting for Germany. Why? No other community will ever be so assimilated. I never been to a Jewish school. I had a Hebrew teacher at home. I went to the same school my grandfather went, Leibniz Gymnasium. In 1933, because I'm Jewish, I'm been thrown out. I can't go to that school anymore. Why? And then in my book, I tell you how difficult. How can you explain a 13.5-year-old living in an orphanage, going to work every day, is in school every night, including Saturday and Sunday, has a false name, is Walter Schleif, not Eddie Jaku. That was very hard. If you ask me what was the hardest time of my life, not Auschwitz, my upbringing, to be knowing that my parents are 860 kilometers. A lovely mom, I didn't find out till later that every time she spoke for me for 10 minutes, she cried like a baby. This is important. This hurt me the most. It hurt me the most that I have lost the ability of being a normal child, to be with my parents when I needed them the most. I had to grow up quickly, make all sorts of things that I fall asleep. I had no sleeping pills, so I studied. My best subjects are mathematics, science, and physics. So when the others went to bed, I covered with a sheet my head, switched on a lamp which I made in Siemens, and studied mathematics till I fell asleep, so tired that I wouldn't call no one, because if I called my mom's name, they will know that I'm not an orphan. So I was so frightened that I had to be tired every night so that I don't call no one in my sleep. And this was the hardest time of my life. And this has made me prepared to suffer Auschwitz. I knew how to live, when to speak, when not to speak, when to sleep. We are 400 people in a block, and 399, they're running around for 3 hours, looking for food they never find, looking for friends or family they may find, but they're wasting irreplaceable energy to survive. Me, I lay down, 1 hour rest is 2 days survival. And from 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock, I am alone in the block because nobody believes in the theory that I have developed. Oh yes, my friend. So only every second or third friend we meet, but not for long, for 1 hour. I still have 2 hours to sleep. Not sleep, you can't sleep, it's too much noise, but you rest. You have, because we have no beds. You ask me to give your people, the congregation, why they should not despair. You have a bed, you have a family, you have a phone, you have a television, you have a phone to ring for food, and they bring it to your home. What did we have? What did we have? So it's beautiful. It doesn't matter. We're all in this together. It's not one or the other. It's one together. We get through if we can live by the rules, which I do, through this faster. If we keep distance, have masks, he has to have a mask now. So it is not too bad. Have you got any other question for me? No?
Eddie, you said that the hardest part for you was before the war, when you had to live under a false name. Which was the hardest part of you throughout the Holocaust? Which was actually the one that I read the book, and each part was unbelievable. One of the best books the best book I've ever read. So which part would you say was for you? Which story can you relate us
See,
about? Yeah.
when I came home from boarding school, from orphanage, on the 9th of November 1938, on a Friday afternoon, nobody was home, a big house. But when I opened the door, I say in my book, my dog was there. But I didn't know what's going on because I had no time in Tuttlingen, where I lived for 5.5 years, to read papers or listen to news. I didn't have time. I worked in the daytime as an apprentice, and in the night is school. So I was always tired and sleeping. But when I came home, I didn't know what happened. I was frightened, but I went to bed at 12:30. But what happened the next morning, the 10 Nazis, what they have done to me, this was the hardest time of my life. Because I said to myself, Eddie, you're going to die today. My pyjama was full of blood. I told in the book also that one man started to engrave a swastika in my left arm. And he only got one cut, and the blood was running down to my fingers. And my little dog, a dachshund, jumped on him. I don't know if he bit him or just scared him. He let me go, put the bayonet on his rifle, and killed my dog, shouting, ein Judenhund, a Jewish dog. Then I was taken with 150 people to my first concentration camp. When I came to the concentration camp, Buchenwald, a very bad camp, and I was bleeding still, the commander said to me, who done that to you? And I answered him, your men. I thought he's going to cry. He gave me a white sheet and he ordered his driver to take me to a hospital. And they left me there 2 days unguarded. And I spoke German, English, French. And I said to a nurse, what would happen if I escape? And she said, do you have parents? Of course I have parents. Your parents will hang half an hour, 1 hour after they found that you escaped. How can I escape knowing my parents will be killed because of me? And so I stayed in the camp. I mean, I was going back. I could escape. I escaped 5 times, but only the last time was successful. So you see, that was the hardest time of my life, to be away from my parents. I had such lovely parents, you have no idea. And they died in a gas chamber with 1,500 other people, 20 minutes before you suffocate. But 3 days after, I knew it. I never told my sister. My sister lived in Melbourne, how they died. Sometimes I have nightmare. I call my mom. Still now I call my mom. Her name is Leah. Lena in German and Leah in Hebrew. And my name is Avram Schleume. Abraham Solomon Jakubowicz. I cut off for the second time. Nothing to cut anymore. I took Jaku, Jakubowicz. That was my name. I had a very nice family. My mom was from 13 children, 7 girls and 6 boys. My father from 4 and 4, 8. I had so many aunties and so many cousins, uncles, all gone. Why? There is no answer.
Nope.
I tried for 100 years to get an answer. No answer.
No.
Don't ask me if it can happen, because my answer is yes. Nothing has changed. Today in Germany, in Europe is 40% white supremacy. Hate is a disease. It destroys your enemy, but in the process, it destroys you too. So you say, I don't like those people. This is acceptable, but not hate. Nice meeting you.
You're very
Eddie,
smart man, Eddie.
Eddie, I just want you to
No,
know,
Rabbi.
I just want you to know that both Esther Malka and myself are so deeply grateful for your time. And on behalf of our shuls, Chabad of Glen Ira and St Kilda Shul here in Melbourne, and I can assure you that this recording, this interview will be watched by many people even well beyond our shul. I just want to tell you how grateful we are, and more importantly, how inspired we are by your story. You said your Hebrew name is Avram Shlomo. Well, Shlomo comes from the word shalom, as you know, peace. And you have emerged from the ashes in the most harrowing experiences, and you have created peace and harmony in your world and in what you do to impact positively other people. You really are a wonderful credit to the Jewish community and to humanity at large. And we are deeply, deeply thankful and appreciative of your time. And we wish you continued success. Halavai, when we're 100, we want to be like you.
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Next time I come to Melbourne, I meet you.
Yes.
First class ticket, first class ticket, I'll pay for it.
My daughter,
Forward to
Carl, lives in Melbourne. She is in Jaffna College. She is a teacher. Okay?
Amazing. Thank you.
Shana
Thank
Tova,
you,
Eddie.
Eddie.
Shana
Shana
Tova,
Tova.
thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye, Rebbe.
Thank you.
All the
Bye.
best.
All the
Thank you.
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.